All right, beautiful people. Hello and welcome. I'm a little red in the face today because I've been doing a lot of garden work here recently, and I did a YouTube short on that, by the way, if you want to check that out. But yeah, I feel like I'm a little burnt, just a little bit. Anyway, we are here again today. I know it's been a few days. Thank you guys for being so patient. I have missed you all. Today we're going to talk about when you really don't want to move forward. When you really don't want to move forward. So, on the channel, we're all the time talking about how anxiety should not stop you from doing what you want to do. Anxiety learns when anxiety is turned on. In order to show anxiety that the danger doesn't exist, you need to move forward with your life. You need to live your life despite these thoughts and feelings. Instead of fighting with them, just live your life, right? We talk about that all the time here on the channel. But there are going to be days when you really don't want to move forward. You just don't want to move forward. It feels like, no matter what you tell yourself or no matter the circumstances, you know what you need to do, but you just really do not want to move forward with what you need to move forward with, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because thinking back, I had plenty of those days. I would be sitting around probably indulging in coping methods, probably indulging in compulsions. So there was things that needed to be done. There was things that could be done. I just was not doing them. Right? So I had days like that, and I want to address that today. Maybe spark a little something in you that can get you to continue moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. I'm not exactly sure why the comments are not working. Let's try to fix that real quick. Usually a little flip in the screens there tends to work, but I don't know, strange. Let me make sure I don't have it. Yeah, I've got it on there. So let's see, we've got in chat. Hi, bro, my guy, what is up, dude? Wonder Bro Sanchez, what is up? Yo, Wonder Bro, yo. Truth, Mint, what is up, guys? Hello. Welcome, everyone. When you really don't want to move forward, that is what we're going to be talking about today. Hopefully spark something within you on those really, really tough days where you just don't even want to as much as get out of bed. Right? That's what we're going to be talking about today, because those days are important. We say it here all the time. Anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. And that's why those days are so important, because those days when you don't want to do anything, more than likely it's because you're feeling pretty uncomfortable, right? But it's important that you move forward anyway, because that's when anxiety is going to learn. So grateful for you and your inspiration, Wonder Bro. Thank you, Arlene. I appreciate you so much. Hi, hello, welcome to the stream. Before we even get started, which we are gonna go ahead and move in that direction, but before we do that, sorry, make sure that's muted. Before we do that, I want to give another very big special shout out to Steph, who absolutely just blew my mind with their tip last stream. So thank you so much, Steph. I don't know if you're watching or if you'll see this in the future, but thank you so much. Show her a little bit of love in the chat, because that still just blows my mind even today. So anyway, let's move on. We are at we got a full chat, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. When you really don't want to move forward. Now, this stream is going to be all along, what really sets the foundation for this stream is that whole entire fact that we repeat so often here on the channel, that anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. That is going to be the very core, the very foundation of this entire stream. Because as I said, when you really don't want to move forward, on those days that you really don't want to get up and get things done and move forward with your life and do the things that you know you should be doing, right? It's more than likely because you feel like crap, right? There's no other way to put that. It's more than likely because you feel like crap, and that's exactly why you don't want to move forward and do the things that you know you need to do, live life, right? Understand that when those days come, and I'm not perfect. On my journey, I had plenty of days where I caved, so to speak, and was not doing the things that I knew I should be doing. I was not moving forward with life. I was not perfect, but understand those days are tremendously important. I cannot stress the importance of those days enough. The days where you really think to yourself, okay, well, I could get up and do this. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. I could get up and do that. I could do this thing. I could do that thing. And then you think to yourself, but oh my God, I cannot see how I could possibly manage that. right? And then you think to yourself, the way that I feel right now, there I have no interest in getting up and doing those things. The way I feel right now with the thoughts that I'm having and the feelings that I'm having, I have no interest in getting up and accomplishing that or getting that thing done that needs to get done. I have no interest whatsoever in doing these things. Right? Show of hands, how many people in chat has had days where that was their train of thought? I know I need to move forward. I know that thing needs done. I know that thing needs done. I know I could do this. I know I could listen to this song that I really enjoy, these positive behaviors. I know I could do this. I know I could do that. But I really have no interest in doing that whatsoever. And I can't even imagine making myself do these things right now. Show of hands, how many people in chat has had days like that, right? I'll even put my hand up because during my journey I had plenty of those days. But understand, right, like I said, those days are extremely, tremendously important to your recovery. If you do not, and I don't want to say force because that sounds a little blunt, but if you do not somehow motivate yourself enough to get up and get it going on those days when the anxiety is very, very high and you feel absolutely like crap and you can't imagine doing any of these fun, productive things, if you cannot find it within yourself to get that motivation and pull it out of you and say, hey, I don't feel like doing these things whatsoever, but I'm going to do them because it's worth getting my life back. You've got to find that motivation within yourself, right, in order to do that. You've got to find that motivation within yourself to make yourself get started. Now, I will say this. As you're laying there and as you're trying to motivate yourself, okay, today's a really tough day for me, all this anxiety, all these thoughts, I know I need to move forward, I know I need to do these things. As you're laying there trying to motivate yourself to take those first steps, right, I do want you to remember one thing. It will get easier when you take that first step. On those days where it's really tough and you just don't want to get going, you just don't want to get up, you just don't want to get involved in life, when you take that first step, it does tend to get a bit easier. Now, I didn't say a lot easier because sometimes it can just be really, really tough, right? But it does tend to get a bit easier as you get confidence and motivation going. So if you're laying there contemplating what to do and you're spending way too long doing that, just get up and make your bed, right? Just literally, quite literally, get up and make your bed. Get up and take the trash out. Get up and brush your teeth. Like quite literally anything to get the ball rolling. Now, you're going to have those days where that anxiety is just slamming, right? It's just slamming, for lack of better words, and you don't want to do anything on your list, right? You don't want to do any of these things that you know you could be doing. You don't want to do any of these things that you know you should be doing. You don't want to do anything. If you find yourself on a day like that, two things to remember. My anxiety learns while my anxiety is turned on. I need to take advantage of this. It's not I want, I need to take advantage of this day, right? And then number two, it will get easier if I just get started. Get up and make the bed, right? Get up and make the bed. Get up and put on a song. Get up and go have breakfast, whatever. Get going. Right? Now, through this day, of course, the two main keys exist. There's two of them for a reason, right? I wish we could have just one, but there is two for a reason. What is the other of the two main keys? Not fighting with the thoughts and feelings, right? So as you have motivated yourself to get up on these really tough days because you know you need it to get your life back, you know you need it because anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. So as you have successfully motivated yourself to get started, even if it's something as simple as making your bed, don't forget about that second main key. I don't want you up in your head the entire time you're trying to have this productive day and live your life thinking to yourself, oh God, negativity, every thought that comes in, you're following it down the rabbit hole. Thought says, oh, you'll never get better. And you say, why did I just have that thought? And I can't stand having that thought. And, let me fight with that thought and wrestle with that thought a little. Don't do that. Right? If you have successfully motivated yourself to get out of bed and make that first step and make your bed on those really tough days, don't forget about the second main key. As you're going through your day, being productive, living your life, doing things that I know you don't feel like doing, but you're doing because you want to prove to your brain that protection that it's giving you in the form of anxiety is not needed, right? So as you're doing that, don't forget about that second main key. You're not going to be fighting with any thoughts. You're not going to be fighting with any feeling mentally. You're just going to tell yourself again and again, right? Even if you're very tempted to follow some of these thoughts, and you will be very tempted to follow some of these thoughts, you're just going to tell yourself again and again, right? I'm not going to fight with any of that because I know the truth, and I'm going to prove to my brain the truth here, right? So the thought comes in, accompanied by probably a strong feeling, and you're not going to fight with it. You're not going to argue with it. You're simply going to tell yourself, I know what I'm in it for. That's okay that I just had that thought. I'm going to get right back to my productive day, right? And you rinse and repeat that. That is the two main keys in action, right? That is the two main keys in action. Leaving all those thoughts alone and just giving yourself, some accepting reminders, leaving all those feelings alone, just giving yourself some accepting reminders, and having the most productive day that you possibly can, even though you don't feel like it, but you're doing it anyway because you know you want your life back. You're doing it anyway because you know that you have a point to prove to your brain. And what is that point? The point is danger doesn't exist. The danger doesn't exist, and now I'm going to prove that. So as you're going throughout your day and you have motivated yourself to get out of that bed, to get off the couch, and to have that productive day, to have that fun day, despite feeling like crap, right? Because I know I'm not trying to undercut you here. I know how much like crap you feel, right? But as you have made the decision to move forward with that day anyway, despite it all, right? I want you to go through that day having the most productive, fun day that you can, despite it all, while you also let all the feelings and thoughts do their thing without getting involved in an argument, without getting involved in a fight. So a thought comes, a feeling comes, you remind yourself, I know the truth, and I'm going to prove to my brain the truth. I'm not going to fight with that thought. I'm not going to fight with that feeling. I'm going to simply show my brain the truth through my behaviors, that all is well, and that the anxiety is not needed, that the false alarm is not needed. Now, you've spent probably a very long time trying to go the route of debating with every thought. How far has that gotten you? You have probably went a very long time with compulsions. How far has that gotten you? You have probably went a very long time with having just a rest day every time you feel bad. Well, these rest days are starting to add up, and they're becoming less like rest days and more like avoiding everything, right? So as you have motivated yourself enough to get up and have a productive day despite your false alarms of anxiety, because you're going to show your brain the truth, as you have made that decision, I also want you to keep in mind that you're not going to go through that productive day fighting every thought and feeling. No, you're going to go through that productive day with the mindset of whatever thought comes can come. Whatever feeling comes can come. I'm not going to fight with any of it all because that never gets me anywhere. I'm going to accept it all. I'm going to tell myself whatever I need to tell myself rather than a fight, right? Find what works for you. Your accepting inner voice, as Dr. Claire Weeks called it. And I'm going to have the most productive day I can. Now, the main point, just to wrap this stream up and to pull it all together here and tie it all down, the main point is that you're not going to feel like getting up and doing that. You're not going to feel like getting up and doing these things, and it's going to take what's going to feel like an extremely strong force of will to do that, but it might be a little bit easier if you remind yourself what you're in it for. And what are you in it for? What are you in it for, chat? Can anybody answer that in comments? What are you in it for? Well, on those days, and I want you guys to participate. I really want you guys to participate in the chat here. Nova keeps pushing me over. I don't know. What are you doing? I really want chat to participate here. On those days where you absolutely do not feel like doing anything productive, anything positive, anything fun, whatever you want to call it, what are you in it for? Why are you gonna do it anyway? Even though you want to give in to the compulsions, lay in bed and hide from the anxiety, why are you gonna do it anyway? Does anybody know the answer to that? What is the biggest reason for making yourself get up and have that productive day despite feeling like absolute crap? What is the biggest reason there? Anybody have the answer to that? I'll tell you what the biggest reason is for that. Because you've got a life that you want to get back, right? You got a life that you're missing out on. You got a life that has become nothing but false alarms from anxiety. You've got a life that has been reduced to nothing but a brain that is overprotective, and now you can't do the things that you want to do because of it. You've got a life, one life, that you can't take advantage of because you're busy fighting with anxiety every single day. You've got a life that is not going the way that you want it to go because anxiety is there all the time, and you're going about it the wrong way, right? You got a life that you want to live, and I know you want to live it, and you got things you want to accomplish, you got things you want to do, and you want to put this shit behind you. So on those days where it feels like it's going to take the force of God to get you out of bed and have a productive day, remind yourself what you're in it for. You're in it for your entire life, right? Your entire life is the reason that you're going to do this anyway. Your entire life is the reason that you're going to have a productive day despite feeling like crap. Your entire life is your reasoning, and I think that's reasoning enough. Right? So on those days where you really don't want to do it, and when I say it, I'm talking about acceptance. I'm talking about getting up and proving to your brain through your behaviors that all is well while you stop fighting with those thoughts and feelings. Positive behavior, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. As you make the decision to do that, right? As you make the decision to do that, understand what you're in it for. You're in it for your life. This is your life we're talking about here, right? I think sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we forget that. We forget that you're in it for your entire life. And I think that's all the reasoning that one person could ever need, right? It's just sometimes you needed to be, reminded of that. You need to be reminded of that. And there was plenty of times where I had to remind myself of that. I don't necessarily want to do anything today, but this is my life that we're talking about here. Right? This is my life that we're talking about here. So if it's going to make the difference in the end, I'm just going to do it. Right? So that was the point of today's stream, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Burpee. We're going to get some music going. We're going to switch on over to post stream, read some comments, see who's in chat. A lot of people in here that I missed on their way in. So let's get our music going. Let's talk with chat. Let's hang out for a bit. Let's see. There we go. Get us some music rolling. Is my mic working? Yes, it is. All right. Who we got in chat today? I'm going to scroll up a little bit, so you'll probably hear me reading some old comments. Let's see. How you doing, Truth? What's up, Flush? How you doing, dude? I'm so grateful for you and this technology. Appreciate that, Henry. Truth says, once I started accepting what I was feeling and started going out little by little, changed my life. I no longer have anxiety. I just say, F it, do what Wonder Bros says, and you will get your life back. I appreciate that, Truth. Thank you for sharing that positivity. I really, really appreciate it. It does help, it does help people to read other people's comments and see the progress that they've made. So I appreciate you taking the time to come in and leave a comment like that. What's up, Rick? How you doing, dude? Kate, hello, Kate. I'm late. Tisk. You were here like halfway through. It's okay. Mint. Wolf, what's up, Wolf? How you doing, dude? Does anyone remember old school Castlevania on Nintendo? I just beat it today. I don't think I've ever played old school Castlevania on the Nintendo. I don't think I've ever got around to doing that. What's up, Beatbox? How you doing? Don't forget to like. Yes, I would appreciate the likes. Thank you guys so much. Miami Vice. Should we do Miami Vice today? We'll switch it like halfway through. If you remind me. Let's see. I'm going to drop a few links for you guys. For anyone who might be interested in that. Let's get that Discord link right there. And that's I was looking for my links there. Spooked me a little bit, Mint. Mint with the $15 tip says, great stream. I needed this to help me stay on track. Thank you so much, Mint. I appreciate you. We're on a 141-day streak, guys. 141-day streak. That is absolutely just crazy, insane, insanity. Thank you so much, Mint, for the first tip of the stream. I appreciate you. Show her some love in the chat, please. Show her some love in the chat. $15 tip from Mint. Thank you, Mint. Keeping the streak, maybe keeping the streak alive. 141-day streak. Nice lights in your garden, Wonder Bro. I appreciate that, Wolf. Thank you, dude. Yeah, I did the garden short, which is different, right? Uploading content that's not necessarily anxiety content feels weird, but if you're interested in how the garden is coming along, go check out that short I did. Would appreciate it. Thank you so much again, Mint. All right, let's see here. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Every single one of you are appreciated and loved so much here on the channel. So much. I'm still blown away from the stream that we had. I don't want to say I don't want to say yesterday. It's been a few days ago. I'm not exactly sure, but our last stream, that's how I'll put it. Our last stream, I'm still just absolutely blown away by that. Thank you guys so much for everything. Imagine Dark Souls, but in the 80s, imagine. I watch your videos every time I need reminding of acceptance. What's up, Olivia? I keep believing my intrusive thoughts and thinking I'm not safe. Acceptance always helps. I just need to keep it going. I'm glad you guys are making that realization. Mint said the same thing, right? You need to stay on track. It's easy to get off track. It's easy to start taking a thought too seriously. It's easy to start taking a feeling too seriously. And when I say take it seriously, I mean add a ton of second fear to it. What is second fear? It is negativity. It is worry. It is a fight. It is an argument, right? But I absolutely agree with you, Olivia. Absolutely agree with you. And thank you, Kate. I gave Kate a shout out in the garden short that we did, but I want to give her another shout out here. Thank you, Kate, for all of the amazing gifts that you got me from the wish list for the garden. It really, it just looks amazing. It looks so good. It looks so good. Thank you, Kate, for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I got off track many times. Yes, and that is to be expected. That's another thing that I'm going to say here. That is to be expected, right? You're going to have ups and downs. I'm sure Truth did not just, or anyone for this example, myself included, did not just say, okay, we're going to have productive days. We're going to take advantage of every day to the fullest, and we're just going to start saying F it to the thoughts and feelings, right, instead of fighting with them, and then you just take off and you never have another down again. You never resort back to old bad habits again, right? That just doesn't happen. Perfection doesn't happen. Ups and downs are normal, and they're to be expected, right? They're to be expected, and they're to be accepted. So, there is something to be said about working on your dedication and consistency. That's always good. That's always a plus. But don't expect perfection. Right? Now, what I mean by that is you can get on your own ass a little bit and you can say, okay, I need to dedicate a little bit more to this. I need to be a little bit more consistent here. I need to, cut out these compulsions and start responding to these thoughts and feelings with a simple, what Truth said, fuck it, right? So you can get on your own ass a little bit and you can be like, yeah, I need to step up my dedication. But don't sit around and think, oh, I've got to be perfect or I'm never going to make any progress, because that's just not true. That's just not true at all. Any advice on DPDR? It's my last symptom. So I know this is not going to be a very satisfying answer for you, right? But the advice doesn't change. So, sometimes I do get people saying, well, is there any sort of way that I should go about this symptom or that symptom? Anxiety symptoms as a whole, the advice doesn't change, right? Because the advice will always be what you fight with tends to have power over you. And if you resort to negative behaviors such as compulsion and not living, right? And if you resort to fighting with every thought mentally, or if you resort to fighting with every feeling mentally with your negativity, whatever. Basically, if you're not using the two main keys, right, this is going to apply to every single anxiety symptom. There's not a different route that you're going to take. There's not a different set of rules that you have to play by because you're experiencing DPDR. No, it's the same rule book, and it's the same set of rules, and it's the same two keys. Live your life, right? Positive accepting behaviors, and when those thoughts and feelings come, a simple fuck it will do, right? You don't need to get into the negative mental game with them. The negative mental game is what you've been doing for so long. Has that helped you at all? Right? It's time to switch the mindset to whatever comes, and I don't have much to say besides fuck it, right? Besides fuck it. So I'm just using I'm just using Truth's example there. What's your take on depression, Wonder Bro? How did you deal with it? What's your advice? Also, accepting and living life. Yes, accepting and living life is very beneficial, even if we're talking about quote unquote depression. I do like to say don't be so quick to label yourself as depressed because it's very self defeating, right? But living life and acceptance is very beneficial even to fatigue or depression. Because if you think about it, if you're fighting with every thought and feeling mentally, right, that's just fuel to the fire. And it'll always be just fuel to the fire, regardless of what we're talking about, right? Regardless of what we're talking about, negative fuel to the fire will always be negative fuel to the fire, no matter what the topic is. I've been practicing very hard yesterday and today, taking even more risks than before. My therapist helped push me a little last week. I'm trying to stay in that uncertainty. I love it. I love it. I love it. Congrats, Mint. I was hoping it was going to be easy, but it wasn't. So I threw in the towel and joined the game with 2 keys on my hip. I love it. As well as currently being sick, I hope you feel better soon, Mint, which makes my nerves more tired, so it's been challenging. Yes, challenges will come your way, right? Challenges will come your way. You can either suffer through them or you can grow through them. Really, the choice is yours. Choice is yours. With DBDR, tell it to bring it on and embrace it. Nothing bad will ever happen. I've had it hundreds of times, yes. So it's the same concept, right? And it'll always be the same concept. I wanted to ask if you've been sober while sensitized. How long did you stay sober? Sober? I'm confused on that one. As in, what, medication, or what are we talking about? Drinking? I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I hear the word sober and I automatically go to drinking, but I don't think that's what you're referring to. But no, I didn't go the medication route. That wasn't for me. That's a personal choice that everyone has to make. But me personally, I did not go the medication route, no. And I've never really drank in my life either. So I guess, yeah. I feel like I'm reading that question wrong. Let's see. Oh, refraining from alcohol. Yes, I don't drink. I've never been a drinker. I think alcohol tastes like skunk piss. So that was never an issue for me. In fact, alcohol has a really bad effect on your nerves. It's a horrible idea to drink actively while you're sensitized because it does have a real physical effect on your nerves. I'm not saying that you can't apply the advice if you drink, because you can apply the advice under any circumstance. It'll just make it a bit tougher because alcohol is not good for your nervous system. That is just a physical fact. But yeah, me personally, I've never drank even before or after sensitization. It's just not for me. I want to ask a question which may be weird. Hit me with it. Skunk piss. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the appeal in drinking. Not only because I think it tastes like skunk piss, but also because I just personally don't like the way that it makes me feel. I don't like to feel loopy and dumb. I don't know. I guess it doesn't affect everyone that way. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, so. Not to mention, like I said, drinking does have an actual real effect on your physical effect on your nervous system. So keep that in mind. Some people might say, well, is that avoidance? No, I mean, it has a real physical effect on your nervous system. So it's not necessarily avoidance to say, okay, I'm going to refrain from the drinking here because it's affecting my nervous system, which is already affected by all the second fear I'm adding. So it's probably a wise decision to cut back on that, at least cut back on that. I don't think that's avoidance at all. I think that's a very understandable decision to make when something is having a very real effect on your nervous system, such as drinking, to probably refrain from that for a little bit.
Donation.
Soccer Mom! Soccer Mom! Thank you so much. Soccer Mom, thank you so much. $15 tip says, thank you, Wonder Bro. You're doing God's work. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom. Can we give her a huge shout out in the chat, please? Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. cool. Well, I guess I should update that, right? There we go. 141 day streak. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you, thank you. Give her a huge shout out in the chat. Thanks, Wonder Bros. A heavy drinker along with a heavy smoker, coming up on 6 months sober from all the substances. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Seems like you made a decision that was important to you, something that you wanted to do, and now you're going for it. I love to hear it. Congrats. Congrats, congrats. Sorry for the confusion on your question there. I wasn't sure. I wasn't exactly sure at first, but yeah, me personally, never been much of a drinker, and I'm so glad that you've decided to cut back on that. That is amazing. 6 months. 6 months sober. Wow. You know what? That deserves a round of applause. That deserves a round of applause. Give her a round of applause in the chat. Not many people are capable of that, let's be honest. Glass of red wine a day is good for your heart. I'm not sure about that. I've heard that. Probably true. All I know is that heavy drinking can have a very real effect on your nervous system. I'm not talking about permanent damage. I'm just saying that it's not good for your tired nerves. You're probably going to wake up feeling pretty shitty. So that's the only point I'm trying to make with that. Thoughts tempting me to watch, we'll say, adult films for the past 3 days. So let's see, how are we gonna tackle this question here? So obviously indulging in adult films, we'll just continue to call it that. Obviously indulging in adult films is something that you're not comfortable with, or at least something that you don't want to do personally, right? It goes against maybe your beliefs, maybe your morals. I don't know, but obviously it's something that you want to cut out. Understand that old habits die hard. Understand that building a new habit is something that takes time. So whether it's cutting back on drinking, cutting back on smoking, or cutting back on indulging in adult films, it's all the same concept, right? You're going to be tempted with your old habits. You're going to have urges. These urges are normal. You're going to have temptation that is there, right? Now, if you're able to sit with those feelings and you're able to sit with those thoughts and to see it right through and not go for the quick relief, right? Not go for the quick relief, whether that's having a drink, whether that's, whatever it is that you're trying to cut out of your life. If you're able to use acceptance and practice acceptance, and again, it's a lot like recovering from anxiety. You're not going to be perfect at it. There's probably going to be days where you do indulge, right? Whatever you're trying to get over or whatever you're trying to be free of. There's probably going to be days where you do indulge. So it's a lot like anxiety recovery. But if you're able to sit with the thoughts and sit with the feelings and practice acceptance, it should get easier in time. And again, you're probably not going to be perfect at that, and that's okay too. That's okay too. Hey, thank you for stopping by, Truth. I appreciate you. Came from a long line of alcoholics and addicts. I made the decision to break the cycle. After a binge in Colorado, anxiety and panic hit me like a freight train. I knew it was time to change. Absolutely. Absolutely. And 6 months is huge. Absolutely huge and amazing. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you turning your life around like that. And you should be proud of yourself. Very, very proud of yourself. That does not happen often. That does not happen often. So. Thanks, Wonder Bro. Yeah, absolutely. It's the same concept. Whatever your bad habit is, right? If you classify it as a bad habit and you want to get rid of it, it's going to be the same concept as recovering from anxiety. It's going to be about sitting with those thoughts, feelings, temptations. You know, you could look at it like a compulsion. You sit with that, you don't indulge in that, and it gets easier in time. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it is the same concept. Breaking a bad habit, which essentially, if you think about it, it's, you know, that's what anxiety is as a whole, is just another bad habit. And that's what you're learning acceptance for, to be able to sit with the thoughts and feelings without going for the quick relief, without going the fighting route, right? To face it and accept it, as Dr. Claire Weeks would put it. Really the same concept with any sort of bad habit that you're trying to break. And no, I don't think that's a weird question at all. I think that's a normal question. You know, it's something in your life that you want to work on. So I don't think that's a weird question at all. I appreciate it. Absolutely, Vanessa. Absolutely. Oh, mint. Mint. While I've got you here, I have got sprouts in the garden. The corn is coming up. The corn is sprouting. I planted it from a seed directly into the dirt. No transplants, no pots. And I've got sprouts. I've got beautiful sprouts. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Let's hope. Let's hope that it continues to go in the right direction. Hey, what's up, Omar? 2 a.m. here and I cannot sleep. My body is vibrating due to panic, feeling I'm about to die. I was doing so well all week. I don't know what happened suddenly. It's not about what happens suddenly. You have to understand that sometimes anxiety pays you a visit, even when you don't expect it. This is a perfect opportunity for you, and it needs to be seen as an opportunity, not a bad thing. You need to be telling yourself something like, okay, false alarm. This is a perfect opportunity for me to prove to my brain that this protection is not needed. That needs to be the mindset. The mindset does not need to be, oh God, what happened? What went wrong? See, that's second fear. We're already going down the second fear route there. The mindset needs to be, okay, anxiety does not deserve to be here right now because I do not need protected from anything. It's time to prove that to my brain by using acceptance, letting this happen, keeping that accepting mindset, and moving forward. Right? So let's change the mindset there a little bit and you'll be right back on track. No harm done. No harm done. Very tight. Started shaking my head to loosen my head muscles, which obviously didn't help. Later I noticed I started shaking my head unconsciously, freaked me out, and I was scared I developed a tick. So again, same advice that I just gave Omar would apply to you. You never want to go that second fear route. You always want to try to hold that correct perspective, right? You always want to try to hold that correct mindset. Really, it's all about a mindset. It really does all come down to a mindset if you think about it. You know, at the end of the day, it's the mindset. It's the mindset that you go into these thoughts and feelings with. And we want you to practice that accepting mindset. We want you to tell yourself things like, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. We want you to tell yourself things like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this. We want you to tell yourself things like, you know what, it's okay if it's here because this is my chance to put in some work. We want you to go into it with the accepting mindset, with even the competitive mindset of, okay, this is me getting my life back. This is me putting in the work to get my life back. And I want to take full advantage of these feelings, of these thoughts, rather than, oh my God, push them away. Oh my God, push them away, push them away. Don't want to feel, don't want to feel. Don't want to have, right? So again, it really does all come down to a mindset at the end of the day. And if you're willing to put in the work to grow that correct mindset, what Dr. Claire Weeks called the accepting inner voice, then you're on the right track. You are beyond on the right track. Something neurologically is wrong with my brain. What do I do? Is this anxiety? I never heard of this thing I'm experiencing. Hyper awareness, right? Hyper awareness. I started to do something to try to get rid of an anxiety symptom, and now I'm doing it unconsciously, and now I'm worried that there's something neurologically wrong with my brain. Ooh. So much second fear that it's boiling over the pot. Somebody turn the stove off, because if it goes on any longer, you're going to burn the house down with the second fear. Right. So we need to start to put the brakes on a little bit. You got to start to milk those brakes a little bit. You at least start tapping them a little bit with the second fear there, and you've got to start to try to practice that new mindset, that new perspective, because that's what's going to make the difference for you. So you got to start to try to tap the brakes a little bit on all that second fear that I am seeing right now with my own two eyes here. You've got to start to try to pump those brakes a little bit. We've got to get you into the mindset of acceptance. We got to get you practicing the mindset of acceptance, taking advantage of, I'm going to learn from this opportunity. I'm going to take advantage of feeling this and having this thought, and then prove to my brain that it's not needed, right? I'm going to take advantage of the way that I feel rather than I don't want to feel, right? I don't want to feel, right? So we got to start practicing that mindset. What I missed, who tipped, just checked and saw we're at 30. Soccer Mom tipped a 15 and said, thank you, Wonder Bro, you're doing God's work. So we are at 30 of 50. We are 20 away from moving on to a 142-day streak. That is, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm always at a loss for words when it comes to the compassion and support that you guys show the channel. I can never find the right words when it comes to that topic, but thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. When I become anxious, Wonder Bro's voice come to my head immediately. Live by the words. Live by the words. I think another important thing to mention is that because you start practicing the accepting inner voice doesn't mean you're going to get immediate relief. Don't expect that. Just because you've changed your perspective to the correct one, which is acceptance, with a mindset of, it's okay if this is here, I'm going to take advantage of it rather than push away. Just because you start working on that doesn't mean you're going to get immediate 100% relief right away, right? So that doesn't mean you're failing if you don't get that immediate relief. You're practicing something that gives you relief in the long term. And I'm not saying that it can't give you some relief in the moment, because it absolutely can. But the concrete 100% results, they come in time. So just keep that in mind. Keep practicing it regardless of don't look for some immediate results, right? Just don't even go that route. Just practice the advice because you can, right? Just practice the advice because you can. Like that's a good enough reason. Don't be looking over your shoulder so much. Got Nova whining beside of me. Did you lose your toy or something? Brain is so weird. It creates such weird things. It does. It's capable of that, especially in an anxious sort of mind and body. I'm driving myself nuts. You were driving yourself nuts, but we're going to work on that now. Worried that if something ever happens to my family members, I'll lose my shit and get a heart attack. I'm just going to way overreact. So that's a big reach, right? That is a big futuristic reach of second fear. That is definitely a rabbit hole that you have stumbled down. That is just way out there. So let's try to put the brakes on that. Let's come back to the accepting mindset, to the accepting perspective. Might not be the easiest thing in the world that you've ever done, but it's what's needed, right? If you continue to go down this very far reach of a rabbit hole here, it's going to bring nothing but stress. And it doesn't accomplish anything either. I think a lot of people are convinced that their worry is absolutely needed, but it doesn't actually accomplish anything, which is important to mention. So let's try to pump the brakes, hit the brakes a little bit on all the second fear that we're seeing in chat here. In fact, I think we have not got to use Claire in a very long time. Here she is making a, oops, we grabbed the background there, making a stunning entrance in today's stream, because I am seeing so many rabbit holes, so many gigantic rabbit holes in today's stream. And what is a rabbit hole? A rabbit hole is the mental sort of down the rabbit hole with some sort of negative thought, and I don't want it, and oh God, what if that happens? And we need to put the brakes on that. We need to come back to the attitude of, okay, whatever thoughts come, whatever feelings can come. I'm not fighting with any of it. You know, it can be there if it will. I'm going to see it right through, as Dr. Claire Weeks called it. We need to start pumping those brakes. So we're going to break out Claire, because we've got several people down the rabbit hole today. And that's okay, because we're going to learn from these experiences. So Claire has made a glorious appearance here. Glorious appearance, because we got a lot of people fighting thoughts today, following thoughts today, giving them way too much importance today. And that is a bad habit, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of that, but you absolutely should feel driven to try to work on that. So here is Claire. Claire is here. Wondering what muscle tension feels like. Seems like everyone has a different definition of the feeling. For me, it's just like a tightness, kind of. It's just like a tightness, maybe even an aching in a way. No, not Claire. Yes, Claire's here, and you can't stop it. She's here. She's here. Too many thoughts being followed rather than accepted, and that's okay, because it is a habit, but we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that, right? That's okay. I just opened YouTube and saw Vacate Fear live. Well, I'm glad you found the channel, dude, and I'm glad you're benefiting from it. It's so awesome, the progress that you've made. You should be very, very, very proud of yourself and your accomplishments. All right, Claire. You have served your purpose to remind people of the rabbit hole. Wonder Bro Sanchez, how you doing, my boy? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Rumination Central, yes, we got to spot it and put the brakes on it, man. Spot it and put the brakes on it. Every chance you get to score a point against all of that following of the negative thoughts by saying, you know what, if it happens, it happens. Hey, you just scored a point. You might not get instant results from that, but you still scored a point, and you should still be proud of yourself. Two main keys: live your life, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. It is a habit to break, and it is a strong one at that. I understand. It's worth it, though. It is worth it. It takes work, but it is worth it. Thanks, Wonder Bro. You made it possible. Absolutely, dude. My pleasure. 2 a.m. here. It's about 4 p.m. here. Wonder Bro, should we avoid our triggers? It depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about avoid thoughts? You don't necessarily avoid the thoughts. You just accept them and don't fight with them. That is acceptance, right? If you're talking about like triggers in the real world, some sort of trigger, if you decide and make the conscious choice that you want to overcome that, there's only one way to do that, right? And that's to not avoid them. You know, some people commonly call that exposure. But thoughts, no, we don't avoid anything. We avoid fighting with it. If you want to use the word avoid there, I'll let you use the word avoid there. But you avoid fighting with it, right? But you don't necessarily avoid. You can't really avoid a thought, but you do avoid fighting with it. You accept the thought, accept the feeling. You don't get into a debate, and you live your life. In the real world, yeah, people commonly call that exposure. So if you have a certain trigger that you're wanting to overcome or you're wanting to get over, then people call that exposure. So expose yourself to it with acceptance, right? With acceptance. I must tack that on there. That's so important. Exposing yourself to triggers, you do it in an accepting manner. You don't do it and white knuckle it. You do it and you say, okay, you know, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm doing this because I'm getting my life back. You do it with that accepting mindset. So that's an important part of the process there. You don't do it while fighting with every thought and feeling that the trigger brings, right? You do it with an accepting mindset. So it's all the same. What's up, Craig? Mr. Craig. Rockin' Craig in the house. What's up? What's up, Tony? Hey, Wonder Bro, I'm dealing with some muscle tension recently, like that tight band feeling around the head. So you're dealing with that, but then comes the main question. Then comes the real question. Now that we know that you're dealing with that, okay, fine. But here comes the real question, Tony. Are you dealing with it in a second fear way? In a very negative, I don't want this, what do I do about it? Let me do a bunch of research, and how can I make this go away? Or are you dealing with it with the accepting attitude to the best of your ability and living your life? Right? So that comes now that we know what you're dealing with, now comes the real question. Now comes the real question. Now comes the real question. Are you allowing yourself to feel scared, right? AKA anxiety, Craig? Or are you fighting it? Are you mentally up there with a bunch of second fear? What are you doing? What's your attitude here? I actually got to face with one of my biggest phobias today. It happened this morning. I'm so proud of myself how I handled it. I think exposure therapy really has made a measurable difference. Absolutely. And what is exposure therapy really? It's acceptance. It's to go towards the thoughts and feelings with the right attitude, right? No longer fighting. The two keys. Live your life and stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Now, if you want to face specific triggers, it's the same concept. I was dealing with it in the second fear way. I did look it up, and I was ashamed of myself after. It's okay. You can make corrections, and no harm done, right? No harm, no foul. You can make corrections, and this doesn't have to turn into a big deal, and that's fine, right? That's fine. So it's not the end of the world that maybe you slipped into some bad old habits, whatever. Perfect opportunity just to resharpen your skills, so to speak. Not the end of the world. Not at all. In fact, it can be a very good learning opportunity. A lot of people don't want to look at their quote-unquote bad times as learning opportunities, but if you allow yourself to look at them as a learning opportunity, then perfect. That's what you should be doing. So not a big deal, Tony. Not a big deal at all. I literally didn't think about it all day. Forgot it even happened because I've done exposure and I was able to move. Why am I getting tongue-tied? Because I've done exposure and I was able today to accept and then move forward. Absolutely amazing. You will experience ups and downs. Not a guarantee that you'll be as perfect at it next time. That's okay. I'm trying to stress today how important it is to realize that you're not perfect, guys. You're not perfect, right? But celebrate your victories. Celebrate your victories. Celebrate your victory, right? And understand that you're going to try your best to apply that again in the future. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But you're going to keep trying. And that's why Dr. Claire Weeks said, try again tomorrow. Because that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. I've given you the tools, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be perfect at it. A lot of hate thinking and negative thinking. Well, if you can catch that, you can start to work on the attitude, right? You can start to work on what Dr. Claire Weeks herself called the accepting inner voice, rather than following so much of the negative thinking. Sky would be proud of me. Too bad he's not here right now. He might watch it in the future. You never know. But I'm absolutely proud of you, Mint, and you should be proud of yourself. It feels reasonable. I don't know why. I mean, anxiety, anger, all these things feel reasonable, I guess, depending on your definition of the word reasonable. All of these things feel quote-unquote reasonable, quote-unquote real, quote-unquote, whatever. They do, and that's why it's called a bluff. That's why we use the word bluff around here so often. It's just your programming, right? I had bad news last night. It's been a struggle all day. I'm putting it in a box and closing the lid as best as I can. Well, allow yourself to feel the way that you feel over the bad news that you received, right? Acceptance is about allowing yourself to feel the feelings and have the thoughts, but not adding to them, not following them, right? Not adding a bunch of negative thinking to them. So allow yourself to feel the feelings, allow the thoughts to come. Don't add a bunch of negative second fear to it with your own mental voice, right? Have that accepting attitude to the best of your ability. You're not perfect, but we are approaching that hour mark. Slowly but surely. We've got about 5 minutes left. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask them. Feel free to ask them. I make up scenarios because of vivid imagination. I think that's most people's issue, right? How do you mend a broken heart? Acceptance. Acceptance will always be the way to go, right? Because if you think about it in terms of, is it ever beneficial to fight against anything? Is it ever beneficial to argue with any thoughts or to argue with any feelings? Is it ever beneficial to add fuel to the fire in the form of negative thinking? The answer to that question will always be no, right? The answer to the question will always be no, regardless of the situation. So, time, right? Dr. Claire Weeks stresses time and acceptance. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. I'm going to drop one more link. Tony says, check Cash App. Check Cash App. I don't see anything. Oh, wait a minute. I've got a pending. I've got a pending $20 tip from Tony. I don't know why it says pending, but we're going to count it anyway. Tony, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. I've never seen it say pending before. That's very strange. I guess that's why I didn't get the notification. But thank you, Tony. I appreciate you, dude. That is, let's see, that is tip goal. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. We are moving on to 142 day streak. Yeah, I wasn't ignoring you, Tony. I apologize for that. It didn't give me a notification because it went to pending, but thank you so much for that. Wait a minute. Let's see. It says it'll be available shortly. So there we go. Now it's changed to available shortly. Anyway, that is typical. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate you, dude. 142 day streak. Wow. That is amazing. 142 day streak. I appreciate you, Tony, so much. Tony, soccer mom. Oh my God. Lucy. Mint. Lucy coming in with another 20 right behind Tony's. So not only did we hit tip goal, but we broke tip goal. We're at 70, 142-day streak. Thank you guys so much. So much. You cannot run away from the fire inside your mind, so sit in it and get toasty until it dies. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys. We are at the 1 hour mark. The 1 hour mark. 70, 142-day streak. I love you guys. I'm going to get our song ready to go. Let's do that. Hopefully we don't have any ads that are going to interrupt us. There we go. Tony, Lucy, Soccer Mom, Mint, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything. Thank all of you for watching. Amanda, watch today's stream back, specifically the first like 20 odd minutes or so. Watch today's stream back. You'll benefit from it. All right, you guys, our song's coming up. I love you. I love you. I love you. I could say it a million times. I love you. We're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you for all that you do. And until next time, as always, stay awesome.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Yeah. Did it die? Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die?
Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die.
No,
Did it die?
wait,
Did it die?
wait.
Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die.
Won't die,
Did it die?
wait,
Did it die?
wait.
Did it die?
My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict. I'm a low life, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting. Don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored. Careful what you wishing for.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my